All
Hey.
right. Yeah. Okay. Okay. You're a little too much on the contrast side. Okay, that's not bad. That's
Uh,
not bad. All right.
okay.
What's up, man? How's it
Hey,
going?
what an amazing time to be alive. What an incredible world we're in. We are
Incredible. Wait, there's another. There's
in a
some
good way.
adjective. What?
In a good way.
Yeah, but yeah, incredible, unprecedented. There's all the like these words, but then there's also like what's the adjective when you have chills coming down your spine? Chilling? Chilling.
Chilling.
It's chilling. It's a thriller. It's a thriller, man. We're living
We
in a
have we
thriller.
have normally you could turn on the news, you could kind of get a feel for what's going on. It's basically like a blackout to have
Mm.
some kind of objective view of what's going on.
Yeah.
Apparently, from what I understand, there's 12-foot high fences around the United States Capitol
Hmm.
with a couple tens of thousands of armed uh, National Guard, I think they're called, in
Right.
full military action
Yeah,
with
I saw
their
some pictures. I saw some
their
pictures.
automatic
It
weapons.
basically the U.S. Capitol looks like a fortress, like a military fortress. It's
Yeah,
like,
very very
yeah,
strange time to be in the United States right now.
yeah. I'm used
Uh,
to seeing army presence, in public spaces. This is something that you see in Israel, but to see it in the
so
States is,
yeah,
yeah,
we had this way of life here where you could just walk around. You can go places. You just felt, even if there was people on the street who um, you disagreed with, you could. I mean, New York was magic. I mean, you could have people from 50 religions on the same street, 50
yeah,
colors on the same
yeah,
street, and somehow people didn't kill each other. They didn't even basically.
yeah,
I mean, they're
yeah.
just walking past each other. So anyway, it's a strange time. Um, so I'm not really sure what's going on in the news. I can see. Actually, I didn't look at all this morning. But how's the vaccines going over there? Is your whole country vaccinated yet?
Well, we are actually number one, I think, like in the percentage of
I think
vaccinated
there's more people in New Jersey than
population.
there are in your state. But anyway,
That's
bravo for
true.
that.
It's true. Anyway, it means nothing if you ask me. It really doesn't mean a lot. All it means is that we're quickly pushing those
Needles.
syringes. Yeah, exactly.
I have a
Um,
family member who went
yeah.
yesterday in Florida, got in line around 10 o'clock in the morning, got the shot around 3 in the afternoon. So
Mm.
it took 5 hours of standing outside to get his shots. So I'm not sure how it's organized that it goes down that you get the shots, but I know a lot of people are getting them now.
There are.
And
I
what
did see. I did. Someone posted a picture. There's. I don't know if it's throughout the states, but I think in Washington there was a picture of this kind of COVID test booth where you go to get your COVID test and you get results in 15 minutes or something like that. That's
Yeah,
cool.
we have a rapid
Yeah.
test. You can get rapid tests around here.
Hmm.
Um, so so now that everybody's vaccinated, it shouldn't worry us then, I guess, that there was a story in the New York Times over the weekend that there's a new strain in the UK that's 50% more contagious. So we don't have to worry about this new
There we
strain.
go. The cat and the mouse scenario. That's what's happening, I would say. There
Oh,
you go.
look at this guy,
Fauci
Doctor.
warns of more ominous strains of COVID-19 from Brazil, South
All this guy
Africa.
does is scares people.
It's CDC
CDC.
warns the new virus variant could fuel huge spikes in COVID-19 cases. The more contagious version, first identified in Britain, is expected to spread widely and lead to further strains on an already overburdened healthcare system. Yeah, I'll tell you this. I read about the vaccine. We were discussing it in one of the shows. So I went, when it just came out, I like went and learned everything I knew about it. The Pfizer BioNTech people, they are saying that um, if there is a new strain and our
When
and yeah, when there is a new strain and the vaccine doesn't take care of it, not, don't worry that bad, because within 6 weeks or so we can technically come out with a new vaccine for that new variant.
That's cool. Let me
So
ask you a question. What happens when the third variation comes? Is it still about six
yeah.
weeks?
Oh man. No, but even if that is, it's crazy. We're cat and mouse, cat and mouse. This is what's happening here. They don't have conclusive data yet. Maybe the current vaccine will be able to fend off the new mutations. They don't know yet. There's no conclusive data on that. But it's we are getting into this cat and mouse situation with nature, where it's almost like, I think you brought up that example once, where you have like ants in your kitchen, and or somewhere in your house, and you're just trying to like get rid of them locally, but they just keep coming. They just
Yeah,
keep
that's
coming,
like my kitchen. We have somewhere underground there is a gazillion ants,
Mm.
and if anybody leaves anything out on the counter, it goes seasonally. Right now we're cool, but if the kids, for example, like leave a bowl of ice cream on the counter and the ants find it, so battling them off is like a weeks long process once they like make their way in, and you finally poison them and do whatever you do, and they stop coming in, but they'll come from another direction and another direction and
Yeah.
another direction to get in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and
the
until
same
you
thing. It's this until you
we
what?
probably have to
Uh,
like
uh,
lift our house, like
mm.
excavate the whole yard, put it, bring new dirt in, and then put the house back down because I don't know, what do you do? There's probably millions and millions of them underground.
Or if you can just
Have the kids
find
not
the queen and speak to the queen. Speak to the queen ant or whoever she is, and just say, "Hey, okay, okay, what do you want? What do you need? Like,
what do you want? What do you want?
let's
Let me just put a bowl of ice cream outside. If that's what you're looking for is ice cream, I'll give you ice cream. Let me put a bowl outside. Stay out of the house. So,
No,
if
but
we can
you got
relate this, if we can relate this to the virus,
yeah.
um, it won't stop. Virus won't stop because the point is not to just kill a virus. The point that nature is bringing us to is a new world, a new way of living. We have to understand what's happening to us. We have to
Yeah.
understand that,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and if we can't, if we're gonna go into this vaccine, not vaccine variant, vaccine new strain kind of scenario, this cat and mouse scenario, where we're trying to get the ants, but they keep coming from another direction. um, One way or another, it can't just keep what we're feeling right now, what we're this can't just continue, because our economy is built a certain way,
Mm.
and that's going to become a problem when we are in lockdown right now, and here in my country, and it's they're going to extend it for another 2 weeks. That's probably what's going to happen. This is like a harsh lockdown. This is like everything's like on lockdown, even though there's at the same time that they're like vaccinating everyone like crazy. So, and they're seeing that at the moment the morbidity rates are not coming down. So there, it's probably going to go into another 2 weeks. Now, we already know these lockdowns, what they do to our economy, because our economy is built in such a way where you got to consume and work and consume and work and consume and work, and this cycle just have to the wheels of the economy have to keep turning at an ever increasing pace in order for our economy to work, because our economy is not really an economy. There's no concept of economizing. It's just spending and buying and spending and consuming as much as we can. So anyway, what I'm saying is, if COVID keeps going and we try to catch it and it comes again and it comes back again and so on, in the meantime, you're going to have people out of work. At some point, sooner than later, these people are going to need food, water, shelter, like the very basic stuff. And we're going to be in an
Hold on.
actual, yeah.
Before you get to the next level, which will be fun and be fun to talk to everybody about the upcoming food crisis. That'll be
Yeah.
another whole thing we can discuss. But it's interesting to see that what's happening now is what we need to go through. What nature is going to do, like a sop, like you're talking about with the food, um, with the new virus strains. That's from the side of nature. From the side of us, from the side of humans, we have to go through a process where we recognize what pieces of crap we are. We need to go through a process where we understand that um, we built a world
Yeah.
where all of our systems are trying to exploit someone else. Like
Mm.
when we come up with a business idea, it's like, how can I get them to buy more of my crap? You know, all
Yeah.
the all that we built was built on this exploitation. So now comes nature
Yeah.
and wants to shift things around, and what we now that we're becoming big boys and big girls, uh, this is what nature's looking for. This is what nature is looking for from us, to understand what we are, what our nature is, and that it's not bad, that it was created like this, but or it was formed like this is the kind of creature that formed. You wouldn't like go up to a lion in the jungle and then start getting on his case about eating meat, right? I mean, that
Right.
would be stupid. You would
Yeah.
understand, no, that's a creature and this is how he lives. And when we look at the
Okay.
human, this fancy monkey right here with clothes, we don't go up to him in the same way and say, "Oh, that's like we see him rape, we see him murder, we see him
Mm.
steal," and we don't say, oh, why are we even getting mad? That's how he is, right? First step is
Mm-hmm.
just that's who this creature is. Now, I know there's people out there saying, "No, no, I'm not mean, I'm not bad,
Wait,
I'm a
wait,
good
wait.
person."
Okay, let me add a reservation here. We have a certain nature, and we need to recognize that for sure. But part of that is also recognizing how that creature, the human, this monkey plus or whatever, um,
Monkey plus.
how we need to recognize how it is influenced, how this creature is influenced in a given environment. And then you won't, you know what I'm saying? When you're
Well,
wondering about crime rates and people killing and raping each other, then
mm,
then you need to
first,
figure, yeah,
I'm even going even more fundamental. I'm going first of all, before we even think about what new software we're going to install on this meat. The first thing is just understanding what creature we're dealing with, right? Like if we wanted to train a bird,
yeah,
when you want to train a lion, in the circus, you have to use a whip and some meat.
yeah,
And if you wanted to train a falcon,
okay,
right, and you tried to use a whip, you're not going to get good results. It's like a different technique. It's a different mind. It's a different way that you train or you deal with that. First thing you have to do is understand, what is the creature I'm dealing with here? What is the nature of this creature? What motivates this creature? What's the software inside this creature? Now
sure,
I can exploit the software inside, not exploit,
yeah,
I
sure,
can
sure,
understand the
mm-hmm.
software here to say, if I want the lion to jump through a fiery hoop, keep him hungry, put a piece of meat on the other side. Like, I understand what's what
Yeah,
because I understand the creature. So here we are looking at everybody. We wake up in the morning. We're born into life, and we think that humans are this way or humans are that way. It's all made up. It's basically all made up. We didn't have any kind of education about the different parts of how our brain develops and who we are and what motivates us. And there's certain kind of things we understand, but so now, through all of these things, the virus, and then what you're talking about with food crisis, and things like this, we need to understand who we are first. First, right? Stop saying, "Oh, you're." Well, what we see, what's happening, which isn't going to work, only causes destruction. Is splitting everyone. Splitting. This is a very like Marxist kind of thing, like uh, every color separate them from each other, every gender
mm.
separate them from each other, every religion separate them from each other,
Yeah,
as if
I'm with you on understanding human nature, obviously, but I would put a focus, I'd put an emphasis on um, on understanding our social nature as well. Our social nature is part of our nature, part of the big part of the human nature that is not a big part in other animals and is a big part on the human level of development is that we are such social creatures. So when you see humans acting in a certain way, you have to ask what's their environment, where was that person brought up, what media did they watch throughout their lives, what kind of signals, social signals they got from their friends, what kind of status, social status they were in, what
Whatever
kind
they
of,
got,
yeah.
whatever they got led to a global pandemic. So now
Mm,
we're using whatever we got to now get out of this global pandemic, and it turns out that nature's a few moves ahead of us because we
mm,
came up at warp speed with a vaccination, which should have taken by all proper guesses 5 years to make and test and whatever. It came out in less than a year. Absolute feat of nature. I mean, feat of whatever, a miraculous feat to do that, and then to get the populations vaccinated. And on cue, here
yeah.
comes new, more contagious strains. And even this guy Fauci said, I can't tell if he's just trying to scare everybody or what his real agenda is. I don't know, but he said that by March, um,
Mm,
it's going to
yeah.
be like Chris. Did you, if you could see that find that New York Times article? He said something like in March, basically when did it start? January, February?
The whole thing.
Yeah,
uh I think
beginning of 2020.
beginning of 2020, yeah.
Okay, so he's saying that as spring approaches, it's going to get worse again. Federal health
Okay.
officials warned Friday that
Yeah.
a farm.
uh
Let's
yeah,
look at
we
that first
which
paragraph.
the first one, federal health officials warned on Friday that a far more contagious variant. Oh yeah, yeah. They're saying it's 50% more transmissible or 70% more transmissible. Yeah,
Yeah,
identified in Britain could become the dominant source of infection in the United States by March. Yeah,
there you go.
the okay. Here's the thing: we are seeing only part of the picture, only a fragment of the picture. We think of the virus as this kind of this just virus came out of nowhere. We need to vaccinate. We need to figure out how to get rid of it and get back to our business. But this global pandemic, being part of this global system that we're in a time where humanity is becoming a global system, this pandemic means something completely different. This means a program update for the whole system. It requires us to treat it on a whole new level. I'm not saying we shouldn't create the vaccines. Yeah, sure, try to create the vaccine and work on that level. But on another level, we have to start rebuilding ourselves as a global system. This is what we're seeing, and I'm not even talking about some ethereal kind of mystical idea here. All I'm saying is our systems at the moment, the way humanity works, is it is not resilient. That's all I'm saying. I'm taking it to the very simplest level. It's not resilient. All our systems are very interconnected, and yet our mindset is not. All the risks between pandemic, economics, crime, violence, political crisis, all of these risks that we're in, they're all interdependent. We are living in a very fragile time, in a very fragile system. We could easily reach a state where in a few months people have, millions and millions of people have no food on their table, no access to shelter or whatever it is they need. And what are you going to do then? You're going to have an uprising. You're going to have violence on the streets. What are you going to do then? We're going to have to come to a point where I'm just going to say what I how I see it. We're going to have to come to a point where we recognize that we have to provide for everyone's basic needs. I don't know about there's all kinds of plans, they're talking about it, universal basic income, all kinds of things like that. I don't know, how it's going to play out, but I'm seeing there I'm certain that in the
Here's
future,
how it
yeah.
should go. Here's how it should go. For Okay, you can still have a beautiful gourmet restaurant. If somebody um, has money, they want to go to some nice restaurant. like good for them. But everybody, there should just be a website or something. I don't know how they do it. You just mark off what you need. I need 12 eggs. I need butter. I need milk. I need whatever. I need vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody gets a box at their door. That's it. Every
Yeah,
person
yeah, like some
gets
some
free
sort of a
food.
some sort of
Everyone
a
needs food.
situation like that. Yeah, just food, just at the like you said, understanding human nature at the very
Completely
basic
doable.
level. First of all, it's doable. Yes, it
So
is
doable,
doable.
so easy, so
Yeah,
doable, so easy. Feed everyone, first of all.
yeah.
Stop this nonsense that people are that they have no money, they can't eat, they can't feed their kids, they have no
Mm-hmm.
work. It's ridiculous.
Right. Now
It's ridiculous. There's
let's say a word to the people who are hearing us and calling us Marxists right now,
I don't
yelling.
care what you call us. Feed every. What do you think? Let them starve to death? No, I don't think so.
Exactly.
I don't. You know what? I don't
Exactly.
actually. I don't care if anyone's calling us a Marxist about that. If they listen
Mm-hmm.
to what we're talking
Mm-hmm.
about, there's nothing about Marxism here at all. We're talking about feeding
Mm-hmm.
people.
And also this we got to get rid of this whole old world prejudice thinking, classifying all kinds of suggestions like these to ideologies. Oh, you're this, you're a communist, you're a Marxist, you're on the left, you're on the right, you know what I mean. This is so limited, primitive, narrow, short-sighted, rudimentary, limited thinking. Really, people, like, wake up. We're in a completely different reality. This is not
I'm not.
the 1 second. This is not the
Okay.
1930s. This is not the 1940s. This is we are living in a highly technological reality where feeding and giving water and giving shelter to everyone is a doable thing that will only reduce our turmoil and violence and trouble and not increase it. We
This
could
is
we
this is
could be doing that. And
this is
even
not.
without
Uh,
changing our whole system, even without, I'm not even saying remove capitalism or all of that. That's a whole other discussion. And I'm not in favor of any quick and painful and, violent revolutions or that without thinking. We have to think about how we gradually change ourselves and how we build new social constructs. That's a whole discussion. But just to feed everyone is a reality. We're gonna be laughing at our old selves when we start doing that. Anyway, yeah, sorry, had to get that
yeah,
off my
that,
chest.
that's
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to say. This has nothing to do with political party. This has nothing to do with quote unquote. Maybe I don't even think it has to do with morals. I mean, if you had a pet hamster, you would feed it. It's just simple. You put food out for a squirrel. You put bird seeds out for a bird. This is
Yeah.
just the fundamental thing. And if people are fed, well, maybe they
Mm-hmm.
have more time to think about revolutions. But the first thing is we feed everyone. We make everyone feel that they're cared for, that nobody's going to starve. Now, along with the food, oh, this might get a little bit messy, but there needs to be some kind of education. There
I
needs
would
to be
say,
some.
wait, you just said something. Even before, even without education, just the fact that you're going to change the direction to change the direction from.
That is education. We're
That
showing
is
people we care.
education,
You're
yes.
right.
Because
You're right.
if I am used to living in a world of scarcity, that
Mm-hmm.
that you know what I'm saying, that creates
Yep.
certain shackles on our minds and our thinking, and that makes me grow up in a certain way. If I live in a situation where everyone, is you're in a family, let's say you're in a family, right? And everyone's just being fed in the family. It's not that they're not expected to do things, to do their chores, to do their responsibilities for society. It's not that your father and mother lets you be lazy or not do anything or disregard or disrespect. They just feed you because they care about you, and at the very basic level, they want to give you that safety. When you
Okay, hold on.
feel
Hold
that,
on.
you
Hold on.
change. Yeah.
Hold on. Hold
Yeah.
on. Did you see the
Okay.
title of our
Okay.
show today? Did you see the title of our show today?
Okay. We said we'll talk about the FBI.
Okay. So
Let's
hold on.
talk about
Somebody
the
made a
FBI.
comment before that most
Yeah.
people who come to
Yeah.
this show are not from the United States. So I don't care if it's KGB or FBI. Um, it's whatever.
Yeah,
The
wait, wait,
point
wait,
is
wait, wait. That's a good point. That's a good point, man. We have people. We didn't even mention this, but usually we do. We have people connected from all around the
friends,
globe.
not just people, friends.
Yes, our friends. Hey, friends. great transition buddies. Great transition, unique individuals connected from all around the world, places such as Egypt, Wales, Spain, Utah, Minnesota, Quebec, Ohio, Puerto Rico, Florida, Netherlands, Norway, Bangalore, Miami, Belgium. I saw Kenya is here. Hey, Sheila. So we are a lot of people here from all around the world who are feeling a similar direction that nature is pushing us towards, and that's a great thing to be reminded of. Anyway, so go ahead. Yeah,
Okay, so first we're talking about feeding everybody, right? Then all of a
yeah.
sudden, you had this natural feeling that in a family people care about each other and they would want each other to be fed, even if one is a kid and doesn't work as much as the other one. But there's a feeling,
Oh,
there seems to be some kind of natural feeling that within a family, that's some kind of sacred space. Within my home,
yes.
I trust the people in my home, or at least here
Nice,
we
nice.
share a goal, even if we disagree with each other, but we're still family. We wouldn't want to hurt each other or steal from each other. We're still family. But could something, could some belief sneak into my mind that after hundreds of thousands of years of this kind of social structure that I could start, that something so unnatural could get into me, that I could think that someone as close, someone in my own flesh and blood, I would start turning them in because they have different political views than me?
Okay, okay. Break my myth.
Oh,
Break. I buy your build up.
mm, well,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
there was a story. Yeah, this now. Let's not take it. There's one thing about someone who broke into the Capitol and is smashing things around. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about someone who's like outright committing a crime, and then in which case, whatever. We're talking about people who have differing political opinions than me. People who I think because they believe that there was, I don't know, 5,000, however many thousand people broke into the United States Capitol or were there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there was like 70 million people that voted for for this guy. But now
Yeah.
you have people associating their brother, their sister, their mother
Yeah.
with the people who broke into the Capitol. It's like, what? No, no, you grew up with me your whole life. We had
Men-
dinner next to each other
mention the
every night.
story. Mention the story. I think it's a powerful example. The I read the beginning of that when you sent it to me.
So,
Uh,
so tell
so
us.
so there is there. It basically it's an article that starts from the story of a 35-year-old liberal girl who cried about screenshots from her mother's Facebook as she was posting being on the steps or in the area there of the US Capitol. And so and basically she then reported her mother to the FBI. And thousands of similar FBI tips apparently are coming from people whose family, friends, colleagues, um, just basically turned in on them, and that makes you even family, right? This story apparently is not a singular story. That definitely makes you think. Yeah, it says there in the
This is
article,
this
anguished Americans are turning in friends and family for their alleged involvement in the Capitol riots, contributing to more than 100,000 tips submitted to the FBI. So, yeah, the sacred space of the family uh, is has been breached along with the U.S. Capitol,
does
basically.
that happen? Like, does that mean like, me and mom were having dinner together last night and like I made the salad and she made the chicken and then we had dinner and then today, everything was cool. And then today I saw her on the Capitol and I turned her into the FBI. Like they're close on Monday and then you turn
Mm.
them into the FBI Tuesday? Or is there, like I haven't spoken to my mom in 15 years
Mm.
and and because I hate her, and that's why I turn her into the FBI. I
I,
was just looking for an excuse to turn her into the FBI.
I'll tell you what I think. There is some way in which this falls into my mind. Let me
Okay,
share
did you
this.
do Christmas with mom and then you turn her into the FBI, or you didn't do Christmas with mom and then you turned her into the
Let me
FBI?
share this angle on this, okay? And tell me if you feel this. We Here's the thing. People are not under threat in this case. Okay, there has been times in history where people had to rat on their families to the authorities. Okay, uh,
Not in Nazi in a Nazi regime, for example. If
right,
my
right.
cousin was married to a Jew or a gypsy or whatever, I may save my skin by turning someone else in. And we're
Yeah,
not saying that's okay, but
the
maybe if someone's going to put a bullet in your head, you at that moment you make a judgment call.
exactly,
Here,
exactly. So people in some again, we're not making a comparison here. Let's not, to not get people too aggravated here.
oh, it's not
We're
just
not
Nazi Germany. There was plenty of times where this same kind of
right.
thing happened.
The point is that in a situation that is extreme, like Nazi Germany, people are under threat for their own lives, and the survival instinct kicks in, and they are really pushed to the edge if they want to keep their lives, if they fear for their lives, and therefore they turn in their family members. Okay, how did we get to such a level of threat today? The people, this 35-year-old girl, lady who turned in on her mother, and again, her mother didn't like wasn't one of the people who stormed in, and she was just there. She was just there, you know. So this lady who turned in on her mother,
Turned her
she
mother in.
turned her mother into the authorities. Yes, she didn't. Um, she wasn't. She didn't feel a threat to her life, and that's why she did it. Why? Right? So what is the kind of threat? I think that is a very interesting, it's a testament to the very interesting and unprecedented times that we're in. We're at a point where the individual truth of a person is above all else. You know what I mean? We're in a
Yeah, it's like I can't even tolerate
yes.
what you think. I can't even tolerate that you're alive. I can't even tolerate. We have these Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, yeah. No, no. Go ahead. Yeah.
We have politicians now that want to blacklist their opponents. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not because it's one of the fundamental things in nature is you need two opposing forces to develop. You
Right.
must have two opposing forces to develop, otherwise there is no development. But you have to use them correctly. But what we see now and what we see in authoritative regimes is that one wants to wipe out the other one. Doesn't matter which side it's coming from. We're not talking about sides here. The point is that if there is not some injection of new software into the system now about the value of the two sides and understanding and recognizing the true
Mm-hmm.
nature of both sides. They're both self serving, okay, but they both work together in a system.
Well, you're already moving towards a
I'm already
solution.
moving too
Yeah, no,
far.
no,
Yeah.
no. But it's okay. But I think we need to really hit the nail on the head here in terms of why is this happening. This is a very strange phenomenon. Why does the individual feel that, yeah, I have to tell the authorities about my mom? You know, why? And I would say that this lady, this 35-year-old daughter, right? She is probably convinced that what she's doing it. This is the best thing she can do. This is the right thing to do, right? Um, but why the pressure? Why? What makes you actually go ahead and do it? And I think it has to do with the fact that we are living in a time where the individual is more sacred and the individual truth and my ideology and my preferences and my life and what I believe in, right, as an individual, has become more important even than your family ties and family bonds and
There was a
the sacred space of the family. The
somebody
family
sent me a
unit has lost its importance, even in the face of the individual ideologies. That's what it really is showing us here. This is a big thing. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Somebody sent me a video this week, like a funny video of like a man in the street kind of segment where the guy's like going around Washington D.C. and he's asking people like, do you think compromise is important? And everyone's like, of course, compromise is very important.
Oh,
And he
I
does
saw
like
that.
3 minutes of this. Do you think yeah, compromise is really important? And then he
Mm-hmm.
goes back to all the people with the second question. He's like, what do you hold valuable? Healthcare or the environment. Or whatever. It's like, would you compromise on that? Absolutely not.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a good one. It's a good one. I actually I know that this the filmmaker who did it um, is an interesting guy. Anyway, yeah, this really shows it. It's interesting. We don't even, yeah, compromise. It's is an interesting thing. But okay, this hits the nail on the head. We're at a point where we don't agree with compromise. But I'm saying this indicates evolution. This indicates development.
Explain.
This okay. This is complicated. Help me out here. This is a good thing. The fact that human beings are becoming so stubborn, so entrenched in their ideologies, so it's, you can say it's a form of bigotry, okay? But I am seeing that from a bird's eye view, from a bigger, broader perspective. This all this shows is evolution of the human ego. That's what it shows. The ego cannot, does not, is so prevalent, is so strong in people that that sense,
What is the ego? What
it
does that
is the
mean?
conscious sense of separation from everything else and everyone else. That's what it is. It's that conscious sense of I am different, I am unique, I am separated, I am, in and of myself as opposed to everyone else. That is unique to human beings. That was not developed in human beings thousands of years ago, and that is rising and culminating
So
today.
before we were
And
like birds that all turn at the same time, or like
yeah,
fish who all turn at the same time.
exactly.
We built our
Yes.
societies. The guys knew they had to go kill the mammoth,
Yeah.
and the women knew
Think
they had to
think only
feed the baby.
12,000 years ago or something like that. Think hunter gatherer
Okay.
societies. Think before the, yeah, sure. What we
Okay,
were, we
cool.
were
Then we
different
get
creatures. We were different creatures. We've evolved. We are different. We're not like, monkeys versus monkeys 10,000 years ago. We are
read my
different
new book.
creatures. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, yeah,
Um, yeah, the new book
take
covers this.
it.
So eventually humanity gets to, starts developing civilizations. There's the Sumerian civilization and then the Babylonian civilization, and
Right.
with the development of agriculture and the development of the wheel. And so all of a sudden, somehow, because my house was closer to the river than your house, now I've got like more stuff than you. And all of a sudden turns out that like you're way better at making pots than I am. And it turns out that like I picked up reading faster than you did, or math. And now all of a sudden, uh, oh, are you frozen? Am I frozen?
No, am I?
Oh,
Oh,
your video is frozen.
okay. Can you hear me? I'll fix it.
I hear you. Okay, we
I'll
hear
fix
you,
it.
but
Okay.
you're frozen.
I'm
Um,
just, I'm so overwhelmed by what you just said. No, kidding.
okay, okay. So through a couple 100,000 years. Okay, are we here?
I am
Um,
here. I'll be back in a second.
okay, so over a couple 100 years, 100,000 years. By the way, everyone, we are classified as great apes, along with the orangutans and the chimpanzees and the gorillas, I think, and one other kind. We're considered one of the five, I think, species of great apes. So living so socially. then moving to Sumeria, Babylonia, Egypt, Kiko, these ancient great civilizations, we became more and more individual. And now, what you're saying is, oh, I don't hear you now. And now we get to this
I'm back.
empire.
I'm good. Yeah.
Okay, now we get to this empire. I guess you would call this the Western Empire, the American Empire.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Individualism. Everyone is an individual. Everybody has their own gender. I think we have like 2,000 genders or something now. You can be anything. You can be whoever you want. Oh my God! Speaking of
2000
something that's
genders.
that's crazy, there's people I saw this week. There's people who want to be
What?
even paraplegics. There's people who like
Yeah.
crush their own arm, or there's a guy who like chopped his hand off, like he didn't feel that it was
Oh,
his right. He didn't feel that the hand belonged to him. Like crazy things happening now. People
wow.
just, yeah,
Wow.
Chris, if you could see it, it was just in the news this week. This woman had braces on both of her legs. She was born healthy, but people like hurting themselves or cutting a limb off, or wanting to be in a wheelchair, like hurt themselves so they can't move. There's
Why?
the
Why
point
though?
is
I didn't
the
understand the
point is
motivation.
the point is that we
Yeah.
came to a time where if I feel something, like
Yeah.
I'm attracted to a guy, I'm gay. I don't, this arm doesn't feel like me, I want to chop my arm off. Like I wanted this, I want this. I'm not relating, sorry, gay to that. I'm sorry, don't mean that at all. What I'm trying to say is everything goes, anything goes.
Yeah.
You can do
Yeah.
anything now,
Okay. Here's
right?
an example for that. There was a trend
Because hold on,
of
because in the
yeah.
past, society made it that there's a man and a woman, they make a family. Society made it that if I didn't feel that my hand was mine, I couldn't really chop it off. It wasn't acceptable. Society made it that there was only, when I had my form, there was only two genders to choose from.
Yeah.
Society kept everything very orderly. Today, all of it is breaking down. Now, let's get into why and
And
how.
this okay. So no, I'm you're giving words and examples to that kind of drive that I was talking about. It's the same thing. The what drives this is the latent or unseen growth of this evolution of the human psyche, which I refer to as the evolution of the human ego. But here's the thing: this is just one side of the picture, and this is why it has to happen. It needs to happen. People, um, um, people need to become more consciously separated from others. This is part of our evolution, but it's just one side of it. What's actually going on here, I would say, is the evolution of human relationships. You know how there's this
The
example.
evolution of human relationships or the
Yes.
disintegration of human relationships?
No, I think it's connection and disconnection. That's what we're seeing. If you I would
I only see the disintegration.
It's connection and disconnection. We are That's how I would say it. We are constantly connecting and disconnecting in different ways. You know this example of how if you take graphite, I believe, then you interconnect the molecules of graphite in a certain way. You get graphite, right? Carbon, basically, if I'm not wrong. So and you put together the atoms in a certain way, you get a pencil. You get like the graphite in a pencil, right? You put them together in a different way. Yeah, I can't remember if I'm talking about graphene or graphite and all that, but basically you take the atoms in a different you put them in a different way, you get a diamond. Totally different qualities, totally different result, totally different thing. But if you delve into it with a microscope, you see the same building blocks. What's changed is only their interconnection, their configuration, their the format in which they connect to each other. I would look at what's happening to humanity throughout the thousands of years of our conscious evolution, let's say, which is not that long, just a couple thousand years. I don't know, 10,000 years maybe. depending on how you start counting. But we are going through testing and trying and cycling through all kinds of configurations, and that's how we change from, monarchies, where our connection is built in a way where the king is above all, and then we move into something like feudalism, right? And fascism, where the country is above all, and now we connect around that. And then communism, where the party is above all, and we connect around that. And then liberalism, which is the individual is above all, and we connect and build a society around that.
Vive la liberté.
Yeah, and so we are constantly connecting and disconnecting, changing our configuration of connection, and that's what evolution is putting us through. And on the way, we're gradually coming to a point where we have to put something new above a new concept, a new king, something new above ourselves. And that won't
Okay,
be, yeah,
I have good news for you. I have good
okay,
news for you. Okay, ready for the good news? So, evolution, according to Darwin,
yeah,
or according to science, right? It
okay.
moves from the past into the future, right? It starts there with the little single cell, whatever he was. And then he develops and he develops, and the stronger one killed the weaker one. And there was some complementary
Okay,
relationships between the bird and the
okay,
alligator. One cleaned the other's teeth, and they all helped each other out. And
sure.
eventually, now we can kind of understand where we're going, right? Now, what we're talking about, studying the laws of nature from above to below, totally different situation. Why is it different?
Okay, okay. No, I got an anecdote about that, but it's
Okay.
not an
The
important
reason
one.
it's
Go
different
ahead.
is because we already know the end, and the whole process is leading towards. See, in the Darwin situation, you don't know where it's headed. You understand some kind of general process, you can plot it, you understand,
Yeah.
there's a couple parameters here. What we're talking about is already knowing the whole plan, the good and final end, past this protein movie, this five senses movie, into some kind of unity, which we don't really have the words yet to express. We'd have to pass it through an emotion, which sometimes kind of get a taste of it. We're talking about a certain future, a certain reality, beyond the limitations that we're used to, where everything is interconnected, where the plus and the minus work together in harmony. So now, since we know that, we can now look at where we are now. We don't have to be scared of the fighting and everything that's happening. We can understand the plus and minus war that's going on. We can understand that we moved beyond the plus and minus war that needs to take place between protein bodies, between carbon. And now we're dealing with the plus and minus war that's happening in our minds and our emotions. We didn't have that.
No, I'll tell you what the thing is. The I think we can talk about that higher, more advanced state of evolution being a state of greater connection between human beings, even without knowing the end, even without knowing the end in advance. This is something,
This is the end.
no, even without that vantage point, we only need to understand the direction of evolution. And if you look at the direction, then a lot of scientists today too, with all the respect to Darwin, and Darwin got a lot of things right, but his tools were
Especially
limited. His
that beard of his. A very nice beard.
his tools were limited. His ability to research was limited, and he doesn't have the kind of even mathematics that we have today. There's for instance, speaking of mathematics, there's a guy called Martin Nowak, I believe. He wrote a book called, famous guy in the academic world, Harvard or something like that. He's an interesting evolutionary biologist like Darwin, but on the other hand, a mathematician, statistician, right? And he
He
goes through.
says we're screwed. No, I'm just kidding.
No, he identifies that evolution is not just and Darwin also didn't say that it's just survival of the fittest, but he shows it mathematically that it's not just that there are two trends. To make a long story short, there's two trends guiding the evolution of humanity. He writes this in a book where he calls humanity super cooperators, and he says we are cooperating and competing, cooperating with each other and competing with each other, and these two lines of development or driving forces of human evolution are bringing us to more and more advanced stages each time. So all I'm saying is we haven't yet found the way to connect in a new way, in a more advanced way, together with that growing ego that we have today in the 21st century. That's what I'm
Ahmed,
saying. That's what I'm
Ahmed
saying.
asks a
Yeah.
cool question. If I understand it, he used a little bit of poetry in the question, but he said something like, where is it? Why don't we feel good about a totally positive pink reality? I think he means like, very everything kind of perfect and good. Rosy reality. Yeah. Ahmed, that's of course what everybody wants is some perfect, rosy, pink reality. Here's the thing, Ahmed. Imagine, Ahmed, that you just ate a full meal and you uh, have tons of money and the love of your life sitting next to you. And you just ate, I don't know, they just brought you the salad and the soup and the dinner and the dessert and the coffee. And you're sitting there smoking your cigarette and you're enjoying everything, right? And now someone comes and brings you a sandwich. You have no way to enjoy it. There's no place in you to enjoy that. Now someone comes and they bring you a car you would have liked when you were 18, but now you're so wealthy and with your 50 cars outside, this car means nothing for you. What is the purpose of the story? It means unless we have some emptiness for something, we have no way to enjoy the to receive pleasure. The more emptiness we have, think about you really want to be with your beloved. You can't wait to be together. You've been separated for so long. Then you can really enjoy being united with that person.
Yeah.
So, in order to enjoy in this world, we need to first have the deficiency, the emptiness for that fulfillment. So, here is when we're talking about from a more uh, objective view of just what it means between these two forces. We're not looking at Democrat and Republican or men versus women or right versus left. We're talking about these two kind of forces because without that, right, once they come together, there's no need to move anymore. Everything is perfect. That's beyond time and that's beyond space. It doesn't last, right? You have sex, it doesn't last. You eat a meal, it doesn't last. It's over. It has a beginning, it has an end. So, what we're talking about really is getting to a reality that's beyond time and space. That's where that rosy thing exists. That rosy thing does not exist on Earth. On Earth, there's always the two forces that have to work with each other. Now, what we want to learn as we go through this great transition is how to work with the forces inside of us so that we don't need to have a third world war, that we don't need to have more viruses. That's what we
If we thank you, if we recognize that we are evolving, that we're going through the evolution of human relationships, then COVID and an economic crisis or a food crisis and a political crisis. Look at what's happening today. People are even turning against their families. What is happening here? Because we have to discover a new format of human relationships. COVID is doing the same thing as well. Beyond the health effects on a single individual, look what it does to society. This is what nature is doing through COVID and through everything else that's happening to us. We tend to think about human evolution as the evolution of the individual human, but we're not individual humans. We're a social species. We're a super organism, and we're evolving as a network. We're
Oh, baby, we're a
constantly
super organism. Yeah.
yes, we're a super organism, and we are super organism. Yeah, gotcha. And we're
No,
evolving.
I mean, I don't.
That's what I
I
said. I
mean,
think, didn't I say super
that's what
organism?
you said. No, that's what you said.
Yeah,
That we are. That I am not just me.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
we're all in this. We're
And
doing
COVID
this.
is not something that hits an individual, so vaccinate the individuals. Okay, that's just a very superficial level of dealing with the problem. COVID, by the way, viruses are networks. They have network intelligence. That's okay. We won't get into all of that right now. But
Get into it.
they're working on us as a network. The virus is a lot smarter than we think. They're working. They risk their individual lives in the process of perpetuating their life as a species, and on the way they are upgrading, and they are connecting with our genomics, and they're leaving all kinds of informative programming within us that changes us. I don't want to, it's not the time to go in. We'll do a whole maybe trippy COVID
Okay, we have to
in
do
the
a whole
thing.
thing, a trippy COVID show. We
but
also need to do the food, the impending food crisis show.
But okay,
So
but I do want to say this. Why are we talking a lot about the US? I feel like this needs to be said. We have a global audience for this show. We just read a list of 3 dozen places, I think, people are watching from. And we put a lot of emphasis in the last few shows about the US and in general. And it's true. And it's true. I think it's because your country right now has a unique opportunity. There's a unique opportunity that presents itself there right now. Like you said about New York, all of the different, or many of the different aspects of human civilization exist in the US, and the growth of the human ego is heightening. Every side in the US right now is deep in its ego, but if they manage to take themselves seriously, to rise above the ego, to make it's big, rising above the ego, it's big and far fetched, I agree. But if there's just a little bit of consciousness of what actually is happening, which is it's the exact same thing that happened to humanity 3,500 years ago in ancient Babylon. There needs to be a realization that the ego is growing within us, and we need to discover how our current media, tech, social media, economy, everything else is just feeding into that. And we got to change education, change the social influence, and start focusing on how we can use this elevated consciousness to build a new source of confidence and safety, specifically in a more advanced connection. And it's either we're going towards a collapse of all those systems, media, tech, news, economy. It's going towards a harsh collapse, or and it will take a lot of casualties with it. People will grow poor, and food crisis, and horrible things can happen, violence too. Or there can be a revelation of a new way of life that can emerge from this extreme situation. And that's what the great transition is all about. All right, I'm done. I'm done.
that was the fastest hour of my life.
Uh, so bro, okay.
Are
We
we gonna try this?
This is, yeah, this is the point
You
in
gonna try it?
time. This is the point in time where we usually play a song. But
Ooh, okay, here
yeah,
we go.
but we were, so Seth and I, guys, okay, I'm speaking to everyone right now. Guys, Seth and I were playing around with some idea. We were when we had the opportunity to meet physically, we loved singing and playing together and making music. Um, we can't really do that now. There's a delay in the virtual communication on Zoom, so you can't really play and sing together. But we played around with a kind of an idea where we would sort of hand it over to each other and not overlap, and we think it kind of worked. So we're gonna try something fun here. Uh, we're gonna try to give you a um, what is it? It's a musical
A musical recap.
summary, musical recap. Let's call it a musical recap of the Great Transition episode 22. Okay, so we'll just Seth will play some music. I'll try to say a few words. I won't really sing. I'll just kind of speak over Seth's rhythm, okay? And then Seth will go and take it over, okay? Hmm. So, see, humanity is evolving, and the evolution is about our connection to each other. That's the only thing that's actually growing, developing. What's happening is that our heart gradually needs to expand. It needs to connect to others. And what we're seeing today in the world is only a sign that it needs to happen. And until it happens, we will be here telling you about it.
Don't turn your brother in. Show him that you love him. Show him that you love. Don't turn your brother in. Show him that you love him. Show him that you love.
Yeah, we have to discover that we are brothers. Not just your biological family, but your super biological, spiritual family. See, humanity's developing for thousands of years now. And all it needs to come to is this realization that we're all one. Yeah, sure, it sounds utopian, but it's the only way forward. Now, it's not gonna be a picnic. We're not just gonna start loving each other all of a sudden. It's gonna take work. It's gonna take.
Don't turn your brother in.
Don't turn your.
Show him that you love him. Show him that you love. Don't turn your brother in. Show him that you love him. Show him that you love.
And then, just like atoms that connect to a new level of evolution, nature will help us do it. We just have to start. The Great Transition, everybody. We will be here on Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern. Hope you had fun. We had we had some fun with this. Let us know if you want us to keep doing that. We'll be happy to have some fun next time as well. See you soon, guys.
All right. Lots of love, everyone.
Thursday, 2 p.m.